Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Find all those coupon codes and sponsors on our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Olga Carmody is a master gardener in coastal Connecticut. She is from Ukraine originally. She shows her gardening tips and adventures on her YouTube channel, Olga Carmody. Welcome to the program, Olga.
Thank you. Thank you, Holly.
Well, we thank you for taking time out of your day. And I'll start with this. You just did a garden makeover. What was the makeover, and what made you decide it was time to do a makeover in your garden?
Well, I actually documented 11 years of changing my garden, and I documented it in one video. Because changes were so drastic, we started with a typical suburban house on a typical lot with foundation planting and grass from border to border. And now, in 11 years, you cannot recognize a house. The flowers are painted around the windows. There is wattle fence around, beautiful roses growing. So I wanted to document that journey and to show people what is possible to do with a garden.
Now, whenever you go about deciding you're going to do a makeover in a particular portion of the yard or garden, do you sit down with pencil and paper and draw it out, or do you have a vision in your mind and you create that vision in reality?
I think a lot about the garden. I travel and look how other people garden. So ideas come into my head. I store them in my head, and then I come up with a vision, what can be done in my garden, to fit my style and our house. We garden on a fairly smallish lot of 1/5 of an acre, but I combine roses with strawberries and gooseberries with flowers, so it's all growing together well.
Fantastic. Now, where did your passion from gardening come from? Did you garden in the Ukraine, or is that something you started here?
I was born in the garden, I say, because my parents had a garden. I also visited my grandma, who was growing old garden roses among her vegetables. And Ukrainians do have extensive vegetable gardens to contribute to the table, So it's very seasonal. So I grew up among the rows of potatoes and parsley and carrots. So, yeah, gardening is just my life.
So what are some major differences you may have noticed from gardening in Ukraine to gardening in the United States, even if it's just like garden centers or some things that might be a bit different?
Ukrainian gardens are very seasonal. So if you would have strawberry season, there would be strawberries for 3 weeks. And we would have strawberries breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then for the rest of the year, I wouldn't taste a strawberry. And then there would be season of gooseberries and black currants and apples. And I got used to it. But here in the United States, you can go to the supermarket and all the produce is right there for you. So that's a big difference.
Yeah, interesting. Like if you want a pineapple, you can go to the store and get a pineapple any time of the year. It's like if you want a fresh pumpkin, you've only got about 60 days. That's about the only thing I've ever figured out that you can't get year-round fresh is like a pumpkin.
Here you go. Yes. And taste is quite different.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I take strawberries here, and the taste is just, so different than Ukrainian strawberries from my childhood.
When remembering your grandmother's garden, what have you brought or put in your garden as kind of a remembrance, or this is how she did it, so I'm going to keep doing it this way, or is there something of that mindset?
She loved flowers, my grandmother, and she would grow flowers together with vegetables. I just recently planted the rhubarb in her memory. She just passed recently. She was 93. And when I was a kid, she used to send me to pick up rhubarb leaves for baking. And I remember that walk through the garden. It was a short walk, but still it was a regular one to be remembered. And that rhubarb, my mom says that it's still growing in the garden. Granny is gone, but the rhubarb is still growing. So recently, last year, I planted a rhubarb in the garden in her memory.
I mean, it's a quite an impressive plant when it outlives you.
Yes, yeah.
Well, tell us about your YouTube channel. What inspired you to start it, and what can our viewers expect and our listeners expect when they go over and view your videos?
Well, one day my husband was sitting in the garden enjoying it, and he said, "Why wouldn't you document this beautiful journey on the YouTube? Because other people would love to see it." So if you come on my YouTube channel, you will see organic garden, which I'm growing all by my own. I do not hire anybody to take care after it. And it is it has its own character, the garden. There is a lot of wattle constructions, custom built by me, unusual decorations, but I think that it's beautiful and it plays well together. And it's just fun. I have fun with the garden. So garden represents me. There is a character to my garden.
Now, I asked this to YouTubers. Prior to your husband saying you should document this, did you have any videography or editing experience whatsoever, or did you just learn as you went?
I just learned as I went. It was all just studying YouTube because, I loved gardening and I want to share with everybody else. My garden is very secluded at the back, so a lot of neighbors even neighbors didn't see it. So now all the family, all neighbors can enjoy it, and all the YouTube community can enjoy the beautiful garden. Why not to share the beauty, right?
Right. And then does your family in Ukraine, do they view the garden kind of on a regular basis to see like what's going on with you?
I think so. Yes. A lot of friends. Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. So you incorporate a lot of natural elements in your garden, including things like twigs, and you had kind of mentioned that. Is there some of your favorite ways to use them, aside from maybe using some fencing? I know that you use a lot of those natural elements, and they do add, to me, just organic beauty. So what are your favorite ways to use those natural elements? Well,
what I like about natural elements, especially twigs, they are in endless supply, and they are not expensive. And they age so well in the garden. You don't need to paint them. I love to use twigs as wattle a lot. We have 6 neighbors, so I originally wanted to create strong privacy hedges. So wattle fencing blends so well with other plants, especially evergreens. Recently I built a strong fence to the side of the garden from the mulberry tree, which we had to take down. So I used all those twigs. I asked the arborists who were taking the tree down to leave all the branches, not to take them away, not to throw them away. And now it's a beautiful fence to fight all the raccoons who would want to climb the fence to get to our garbage bins. But they can't because twigs are very prickly in a way. Mulberry tree, I didn't realize it, but it has a lot of little branches. So the fence hopefully will be durable for many years, yes. So all the natural stuff in my garden is reused and lives on.
Natural pest deterrent.
Here you go.
Well, what are your best rose growing tips? For our listeners who want to start growing roses, is there a variety that you would recommend that would get them started off on a good foot?
I do love climbing roses. Vertical growth in the garden is beautiful. And the beginner rosarians might think that roses is just, I go to the store and I buy a rose. They don't realize that there are around 30,000 varieties of roses. And they're so different from each other. Different classes of roses, different disease resistance, different colors. So I would highly recommend for beginner rosarians to pay attention to the soil, because soil is the foundation of the garden, of the healthy garden. And second, do the research and buy the rose which is disease resistant, because then the beginner rosarian wouldn't be discouraged in growing roses. And then the person can move into roses which are beautiful, but maybe not as disease resistant. I'm particularly attached to one rose, which is growing in my garden for many years. It's a gorgeous climbing rose, very disease resistant. It's called the Generous Gardener. And every year, it's almost like a party, a celebration where that rose is growing near our back table because the scent is very beautiful. Rose is of pink color, very romantic rose, and now around 10 years old, it's a big, mature plant, very healthy. And every year, it's very rewarding to wait for the blooms. And by the way, they're coming in several weeks, and all those blooms I will be showing on my YouTube channel.
That sounds very beautiful. So I just want to go back to you using twigs in your garden and the branches and making the wattle fencing. I know what wattle fencing is, but for our listeners who may not know, could you kind of describe what wattle fencing is, or how, I guess, how it's kind of built?
Yes, it's the same as weaving. Vertical sticks goes first, and then I take all sorts of branches and I weave them in between. And because wattle fencing is not perfect, right, there is room for error, and it all looks very harmonious. It blends so well with the garden, and every year, in case squirrels dislodge the branches, I can always add new ones, and the fence lives on year after year. My wattle fence, which I installed 4 years ago, is still doing well. So it's surprisingly a very sturdy and fairly long-lived construction, and very inexpensive to install. Plus, it can be a lot of fun for the family.
Well, Olga, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered us. Again, remind people how they can find you and find your YouTube channel on the internet.
Yes, my YouTube channel, the name of the YouTube channel is Olga Carmody. I was trying to research the name for the YouTube channel, and all of the channel names were taken, so I had to go with my name. So here you go, Olga Carmody, and you will find all my garden adventures there.
Well, we certainly appreciate the time and the knowledge and the information you've shared with all of us, not only Holly and myself, but our listeners, and we thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. And